This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Sunday, February 23rd, 2025. The title of this rant is Canada, oh Canada, boycott the shit out of Florida. Before the supposed tariffs were going to go in Canada, we saw pictures in liquor stores where they had pulled the Kentucky bourbon or whiskey from the shelves and says, don't buy this, buy Canadian whiskey. And people were buying Canadian whiskey. Don't know what's happened since that because the tariffs are supposed to end in we'll find out if Trump's going to tariff them soon enough. But recently something came out where, in some areas of Florida where a lot of Canadians go during the wintertime, that as many as, in some areas, bookings are down up to about 40%. Now, this is going to bite Florida in the ass. Now, again, this is not all over Florida. It's just in some areas of Florida. But basically, Canadians are saying, just, hey, we have pride in our nation. We are a nation. We are a sovereign nation. Don't F with us. And guess what? A lot of Floridians can be hurt because of this. And guess what? Also, Trump has had some very terrible things to say about Ukraine lately, which I've talked about. And maybe a lot of Europeans are not going to have their vacations in Florida because a lot of Europeans also go to Florida during the wintertime. So how much this is where let's just say the belligerence and the idiocy of Trump himself is going to hurt his people and a lot of his people. Now, we'll see how that plays out. And let's get to the next aspect of this is that there have been a lot of reports lately of a lot of people, who's in the Washington Post, has been in some other places, where people who were Republican, worked for the federal government, voted for Trump, and said, hey, why did I get laid off? I voted for you. I want us to take care of the inefficiencies in government. I want us to get rid of, the waste, fraud, and abuse. But I didn't want to get rid of my job, which was basically saying, I wanted to get rid of some other sorry-ass person's job. And in a lot of cases, even though this wasn't necessarily brought out specifically, is that I wanted you to get rid of DEI. I wanted you to get rid of a Hispanic, an East Asian, a black person, etc. And, this is the thing. Trump is a cruel, vicious, vile man. He is an equal opportunity destroyer. He doesn't care who he hurts to get what he wants. Now, a lot of this, might have been a whisper. Now it's becoming louder and louder. All right. And even, two things that are going on right now. One, behind the scenes, everyone in the Trump administration, because they're all believers, they're still looking legally, not legally, finding as many ways possible to screw over the average American every single day and making it worse and worse. At the same time, because of this pushback, they're going back in there and saying, hey, how can we rectify this a little bit so we don't have our people laid off, etc. And but because of the stuff that Elon's doing, so many people are going to get laid off. And it's not just the people who are getting laid off, it's the peripheral people on the other side. How many people, the stores that they go to, they're not going to be able to buy as much stuff. They might not be able to settle on a house. They're not going to be driving as much. All of that's going to come into effect. We might see that as it comes up in the April 4th on the next employment thing. But let's just say, when a whole country, Canada, let's say parts of Europe, are basically saying, hey, we're not going to go to Florida because the way you've been treating us, that ripple effect is going to take effect. And it's also going to take effect by those Republicans who thought their jobs were safe in the United States as working for the United States government, but they weren't. This is going to come. We need to be together. We need to be united. We need to have pushback, and we need to continue unendingly against this regime.